deep down inside, I know that the science I do, whilst it's important to me, doesn't really reach a lot of people. And the skills we have could be used in so many different ways. So I'm trying to encourage my colleagues out of their ivory tower and into the real world of societal issues. I'm hoping that they'll get, I don't know what to call it, they're going to get some sort of inner glow. So the first thing we did with Nesta was kind of scope out what extreme collaboration meant. And so the idea we pitched was, can we have an intellectual soup kitchen?
An experiment, I suppose, in whether the kind of kismet that happened when Tony and I met was a replicatable thing, and whether other people could also strike up their own relationships that would have a value to adding something, a value to the world, if you like.
Is it something that can be systemized and taken out to many institutions? And so we've been trying to answer that systemization question at the same time as generating ideas and a passion for change.
I think with any university, given that universities are so large, the possibility of that existing is there. It's just a matter of outing it and giving it its time. And sometimes you have to earmark that out off curriculum and off the natural timeline of a university year, if you like, in order to find out that those people actually do have something in common.
The first meeting in Sheffield was a disaster. We sat in a really nasty room. There was no one quite knew why they were there. It just felt wrong, and I maybe it's to do with the chemistry on the day. I don't know.
I was invited to facilitate the second session in Belfast of the group, and I found it very difficult because I was used to smaller scale interaction and very committed people who were very transparent and open about sharing ideas. And on that occasion, that was not the way it was.
It feels like that from the beginning, although some of us knew each other, that we spent quite a long time, but the right amount of time, learning to trust each other and kind of work out quite quietly what each other were good at, and areas we could go and couldn't go. And I think that's been part of the early process. And although we're panning right now to the end, there's an incredible sense of having bonded. Now we've come to this side of it, particularly today at the Clash.
Today gives you more chance to be open and to share things and to be under pressure to deliver some thinking.
For less than $1 a piece, so we can actually go and distribute it out in their world.
Creative communities to social innovation.
Rewarding consuming less, we came down to redefining prosperity.
So we started with the idea of the People's Research Council, but we didn't like the word people. All research or council? All research or council.
I think I'm a little bit overwhelmed also at the end, almost at the end of this day, by the critical mass of creativity, of goodwill, of engagement, commitment.
Well, I think we designed it as a non-conference, and I think it really did do that for me.
Today might be the first day that I've actually felt that there is this thing about being a free radical in a communal sense.
I think what Free Radicals has highlighted are really the structural ingredients that you require in order to embark on such an adventure. And I think we've learned a lot of things that you need. For instance, you have to establish trust, ownership, listening skills above all.
It's just that very obvious thing of having time and space to think. And that because it doesn't have defined outcomes, it means that you can think in a more lateral manner.
We all bring different things to the party. So where the technical aspects might be packaged in a way that's socially unacceptable, social scientists and artists can help repackage and explain in a way that might be more acceptable, or can say, no, don't go there.
I think all of us have excess intellectual capacity. Yep. Whereas, and interesting, particularly in academia, a lot of the structures of academia actually surprisingly shut down that capacity, or they channel it. So if you're doing a research project, in a way you don't want to have too many ideas. And I think that what's interesting is how mechanisms like this can exploit people's excess intellectual capacity.
And we all want to remain in contact with each other, and very often at conferences that really isn't what you want to do. You might professionally want to remain in contact with people or be on someone's mailing list, but there's something about today that feels like it's been more about an authentic connection between people.
Retaining that these are the problems that need solving, and this is the context of how to solve them, will always be the key to this extreme collaboration.